Hello and welcome to Sproutlogic Gardening. My name's Mike. White roses are arguably some of the most beautiful flowers we can plant in our garden. You look at them in the catalog, they look great. They're at the store, they're looking wonderful. But then you put them in the ground and something else happens. Well, today I'm going to show you one that is bulletproof. Let's get started. So I don't want to leave you in suspense. So the rose I'm talking about today is John Paul II from Jackson and Perkin Online. And I ordered two flowers from them, and this actually just arrived. The second one, we'll talk about when that arrives. I won't spoil the surprise. Quick spoiler alert, these are not the rose that I'm talking about. This is something I want to tell you about a little bit later on. But let's start with why I chose John Paul II. So I used my custom GPT, and if you haven't checked out my video, highly recommend you do. If you're not using AI to help you in the garden, you're really missing out. There's so many things you can learn and use it for that really give you tons of benefits. But anyways, I used my custom GPT, and I asked it the simple questions. What rose would do really well in my conditions? What's super disease resistant? What has the color white? And of course, I want something extremely fragrant. Well, that rose was on top of the list, which is exactly why I picked it. Now, it's known to be very hardy. It is heavily disease resistant, so it will resist things like we typically see, like black spot, powdery mildew, and it's also very vigorous. So this rose will flower all year, which is nice as well. Now, like any rose, the conditions it typically prefers, it needs very, very rich soil with the caveat that it's free draining. If it's not free draining, like any rose, like these two in particular, they're not going to be happy. They'll actually probably end up either dying or not really bloom that well. But enough about that rose. I want to talk about these two really quick. So, why am I standing next to these other two roses? I like to call this the tail of two roses. So the bigger one you see is a Yacht Bloom Hybrid Tea Rose. I got this on the discount shelf at the store, and yeah, I thought it was a great deal. I didn't really do much research, and I plopped it in the ground. It looked horrible when I bought it. No leaves, completely wiped out, broken stems, etc. Well, I got pretty lucky with it, I gotta say. It had some problems with black spot early on in the season last year. Overall, it did well, bloomed a bunch. I will say that it continued to have black spot issues where I had to continue trimming leaves and stems and things off. But overall, I think I got lucky. The second rose, that's the different story that I want to talk to you about. So this one, unfortunately, I don't know the name. I lost the tag, of course. I should have kept it. I should have put a little flag in the ground, but I ended up losing the tag. And so this little guy, on the other hand, has been a totally different thing going on. So when I planted it, it was kind of a little bit late in the season last year. And unfortunately, it had problems right off the bat. Tons of powdery mildew, black spot, and it struggled ever since. In fact, when I went to do pruning this year for spring, it had shoots coming up that were simply just rotted right off the bat. Tons of black spot, and I still have to actually remove a lot more to clean it up. Chances are, probably won't make it this season or it'll do really poorly. I don't expect much out of it, but this is why research is extremely important when you're picking your roses, right? You don't want to pick the wrong rose because you're not going to beat nature. You need to put something in place that actually will work with your garden, not against it. So this is why I'd like to talk to you about that. I want to make sure that we do, before you pick any plant out, just do your research, take your time, and it'll reward you 10 times over. So now I think we should probably get into planting it. So let's dive into that. So those of you who've been watching for a while, you realize this is one of the first beds I've actually set up on the channel. And this is actually going to be the home of this hybrid tea rose. So I'm going to call this bed the snow bed. The idea behind it is all the flowers in here will be white. So this rose will be going approximately over here in the corner. I'm not going to spoil the surprise what else I'm putting in here, but we're going to start off in the left-hand corner here. So I'm going to put some gloves on. I want to give you kind of a closer view of the rose itself, right? There's a couple things we're going to have to manage to take care of before we plant it. Now you saw where I basically had it planted in water for 24 hours. Want to make sure it's good to go. So when we look at this, what's really, really important is that we bury up to here, roughly. This is where it's grafted. This is where it joins the rootstock. If you leave this exposed, there's chances that the rootstock will actually start sending up shoots and be able to grow. We don't want that. That would be a very interesting looking rose. But I'm also going to take a look on here because I know I missed a couple broken, like right there, okay. A couple pieces of broken root that I didn't address last night. By the way, shout out to Jackson and Perkins. The packaging was amazing. The quality of this rose is amazing. I was not expecting it to be this big for sure. That was not, I wasn't even dreaming it would be this large actually. So super impressed, really happy. And they also gave me a nice little tag, which I really appreciate. Sometimes you forget what you have, which has happened to one of my roses in the other beds I have, but the tag's right on there. So I'm kind of fighting up against the rain here as it's rolling in, but I want to get this in the ground nonetheless. So we're going to dig down. You want to make sure you give plenty of room for the roots to kind of expand out and be able to do their thing. So let's get this all scooped up. That rain is really coming in now. Of course, that's typical. The interesting thing about this bed, I have been needing to backfill it. I've probably done it about 4 or 5 times, and if you've followed my my method here and put your basically your Christmas tree down there, you will probably need to do the same because the soil will continue settling, and when it settles, you're going to have to basically go ahead and uh, make sure that it gets filled back up again. So you want to make sure this has plenty of room, and actually this root's broken too, so we're going to take it off. Now, us gardeners, we deal with all kinds of weather, right? Rain, snow, sleet, or hail. Well, maybe not snow, but we're out here whenever we need to get things done. A little bit of rain never hurt anyone, right? So, see, I'm going to have to push the soil down a little bit more. I'm probably losing a little bit off the side, which is fine. But yeah, you'll see that we want to make sure we give these roots plenty of room, and that's why I'm being kind of crazy about making sure that it has room to expand and that they can settle in here properly. The last thing we want to do is break roots underground or have it cramped up in here. That would only hurt it. Okay, now we're cooking. Let's go a little bit deeper. Actually starting to hit the leaf matter and stuff on the bottom, which is okay. So let's settle you down. Okay. So again, you want to keep the graft underneath the soil. You do not want the graft up. And you don't want to bury it too much. Like, you don't want to go really heavy on that. You just want to basically make sure that it's not exposed. If it is, there's a chance that it will actually start growing. And again, we don't want that, of course. So I am just lightly packing the soil down and spreading this out to make sure we're good to go. Now you notice I have it towards the back, and there's a reason for that. This is a very big rose. It'll be 4 or 5 feet and about 2 feet wide. So we don't want this thing to be in the middle or closer to the front. You'll have all kinds of issues if we deal with that. But so we got it in the ground. We're not done yet. We have a couple things to do here. And I'm following the instructions, which again, shout out to Jackson Perkins for their amazing instructions. They talk about making sure that not only do you cut the roots, I'm going to do this with my bare hands, but you cut the canes back a little bit. Now, there's all kinds of talk. Do you cut it towards a bud that's facing inward, outward? We're not going to go crazy here. I'm just going to take it down a little bit at an angle, like that, go like that. And they already took care of how many canes need to be on here, so I'm less worried about that. Let's go like this. There's also been discussion about the angle of pruning, which I'm going to just debunk it right now, has zero impact. Just because you put it at an angle doesn't mean the water is going to run off easier or whatever. Aesthetically, it's more pleasing to me. That's why I do it. Other than that, you don't really need to do it. So that pretty much will wrap up getting this guy in the ground. I'll leave you with some parting ideas and plans for the future of the garden, of course. Maybe some additional care tips. But yeah, we might as well jump right into those as well. We got it in the ground. But one thing I forgot to show you, you got to water this stuff in, right? So make sure you give it a really heavy watering to make sure that it's settled into the bed and the roots are going to make contact with the soil and that it's not going to dry out really quick. The second thing I forgot to show you was make sure you mulch. Always do it, especially with raised beds, potted plants. I never used to mulch, and I always wonder why I had such hard times keeping things watered. It's kind of one of those duh moments, like, well, yeah, of course, the soil's exposed, getting baked in the sun, and guess what's going to happen? It's going to dry out. So, yeah, we got the rose in the ground. Now, first year expectations, I want to set them right off the bat. You're not going to probably get much out of this, right? Depending on what you bought. That's rootstock that I bought, basically. So that's going to probably take a while. Like the first year, I might get a couple blooms, a little bit of stuff here and there. But next year, that's where it's going to really shine. So I hope this video was helpful. Please let me know if you have any questions. And of course, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps my channel. And if you have any ideas of other videos you want me to make, please let me know in the comments. Have a good one. Take it easy.